Hey everybody, Tekking101 here. Although today, as you can clearly see, I am not normal Tekking101, no. Today I am Secret Agent Tekking101! Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. You can tell I'm a secret agent because I have a top hat. And I don't know if you know this, little fast fact for you. All secret agents wear top hats. Because it's like, that's where we keep all our secrets. So yeah, Abraham Lincoln, you don't want to know all the shit he was into. It was pretty intense there. But okay, no, talking about the CPs, the Cipher Poles, the agency of the world government that's in charge of intelligence and espionage and, you know, backroom stabbing ordeals, you know? Okay, so essentially the world government shakes down like this. You have the Gorusei, you know, our supreme overlords, the ones that are actually in charge of the entire government. Whatever they say goes, final say. If the Gorusei want an entire kingdom wiped off the face of the earth, they could just snap their fingers and that would be done, and nobody would dare ask any questions about it. So yeah, you have the Gorusei, who essentially make up the very core of the WG. But then you have the three different organizations or groups that are under direct control of the world government. These are the Marines, the Warlords, and then you have the Cipher Pole agencies. Now, directly below the Gorusei, you have this man right here. This man is the world government commander-in-chief Kong. He was formerly the Fleet Admiral before Sengoku became the Fleet Admiral, and he's the one that's actually in charge of the Cipher Pole agencies and the Warlords. Like, he has, like, a much higher say. He's, like, the go-between between the Fleet Admiral and the Gorusei. He's, like, the mediator there, but he still has, like, the highest position in the military and the world government right below the Gorusei themselves, so he's a pretty important figure. The Marines themselves are, of course, headed up by the Fleet Admiral, who is currently Akainu, formerly Sengoku. Now, it's important to remember the Marines are basically the face of the world government. They're the ones that are going around the world ridding the evil of piracy from the waters, you know, like the children in the One Piece world grow up, you know, admiring the Marines, like Kobe did, you know, wanting to be part of them, like, I want to join the Marines, I want to help out the cause, I want to kill all those evil pirates and round up all the ne'er-do-wells, you know, those are the Marines. The public face of the world government that makes the world government basically look good, and that's really important for the world government, that they have the Marines doing what they do, and anytime there's some kind of issue in the Marines, they try to cover it up as quickly as possible so that the public doesn't realize what's really going on. And who do they get behind the scenes to cover shit up? That would be the Cipher Poles, or just simply referred to as the CPs. And these are like the intelligence, you know, CIA, MI6, whatever you want to call them, in the One Piece world. They're the ones that if the world government wants somebody assassinated or wants a country wiped out and they can't send the Marines for whatever reason, if it's like a situation, it's like, hey, this kingdom over there, yeah, that kingdom over there, they're allied with the world government, but they're trying to screw us over. They're not paying their taxes, or they're trying to plot a coup against us or something. Now, we can't send the Marines to knock down their door because that might kind of look bad in the public eye, so instead, I'm gonna send CP9 over there to fucking wipe out that kingdom, and we could just blame it on the pirates or some shit. You know, they're the ones that deal with that kind of shit. They also deal with intelligence. You know, you'll have, you know, agents of Cipher Pole going into countries pretending to be ordinary citizens or pretending to be, you know, allied with that nation, when in reality they're serving as spies in order to, like, hey, this Ginglegip kingdom over here, they're trying to plan a coup and they're gonna join the Revolutionary Army, so we should probably wipe them out. Be like, all right, thank you, CP8, we'll wipe them out. That's how that's supposed to go there. Now, officially, there are only 8 Cipher Pole agencies scattered all across the world: the 4 Seas, the Red Line, and of course the Grand Line, both halves, Paradise and the New World. Now, Ciphers 1 through 8, or Cipher Poles 1 through 8, I guess I should say, we don't really know that much about them. I don't think 1 through 4 have even been referenced at all. Cipher Pole number 5 was formerly headed up by Spondum during the time of, you know, Frankie's backstory with Tom and Water 7. You know, Spondum's the one that really made it look like Frankie's inventions were causing harm when they really, you know, he was the one fucking with them, and that's what ended up getting Tom taken away on the Puffing Tom, you know, all that shit. CP6, we have a member of CP6 being represented by Jerry on the Puffing Tom when Sanji went to go and try to rescue Robin. Jerry's the guy, I guess he's a member of the Long Leg tribe, you know, and he is a boxing master, right? But he's just an ordinary guy. He doesn't know hockey or doesn't have a devil fruit ability, so Sanji pounded living bacon out of him very quickly. Speaking of bacon, we move on to CP7, who is represented by Wanze, Crazy Crazy Onesie, who is the chef, or the head steward on the Puffing Tom during this. So after Sanji beats the crap out of Jerry, he moves on to the next cars, and further down the line, you have Onesie there, who is a member of CP7 once again. A lot of Cipher Pol agencies, that doesn't necessarily mean that every Cipher Pol agency is, like, supremely badass. Like, they all have fucking hockey, and they all have Rokushiki techniques or anything like that, or even devil fruits. You know, they're skilled in the art of assassination and espionage and shit like that. That doesn't mean they're going to be really good on a one-on-one fight. You know, they're good at assassination, you know, coming from behind the scenes and fucking, you know, stabbing you, or, you know, spying and shit like that. They're not really exactly all suited for, like, one-on-one Street Fighter combat. But even so, they can hold their own, you know. Wansei gave Sanji a little bit of trouble before he peeled him like an onion and then rearranged his face. Then we have CP8, which I don't believe is ever mentioned at all, period. But then we get to the secret Cipher Poles. There's two of them. One of the ones that I think is the most well-known in the story is, of course, Cipher Pole number 9, CP9, who are, of course, the main antagonists during the Water 7 and the Enies Lobby arc, the ones that the Straw Hats have to fight against to bring Robin back to their side, and causes all the trouble there. And actually is a really big turning point for the story, because it's the Straw Hats literally taking on not just some random Marines or anything. These are, like, higher-ranking kind of people on the world government's pay list, and they just burn down their fucking flag right in front of them. So, you know, they really made big enemies of the world government at Enies Lobby. That shit went down. And of course, you have some of the most iconic characters in the entire One Piece story. You have Rob Lucci, who is still around, is still an antagonist, and can very well meet the Straw Hats and fight again someday. I kind of hope he does. Rob Lucci's badass. You have Kaku, who is still around, who is issuing orders to Lucci at the end of the Dressrosa arc. You have Spondum, who unfortunately is still around, who, as though he is now Lucci's subordinate, which that is just fucking hilarious, because Spondum, like I said, all Cipher Pol members are not necessarily strong. In fact, Spondum was even weaker than a standard soldier, right? He was just he was the prime example of just, you know, he has position, he has rank, and that's all he fucking has. Well, that and an elephant sword. But aside from that, and the elephant sword, he's not physically strong, and he's the one that's ordering all of the Cipher Pol members around. But hey, considering the rank of the government, and that's just how it goes, they listen to him, usually without question. Rob Lucci was getting a little bit snarky with him whenever Spondum was like, "Lucci, you're with me, come on!" And then Lucci really wanted to fight Luffy, so he was kind of trolling Spondum a little bit, like, "You didn't tell me to do that, sir, you only told me to do this." And he's like, "But that goes without saying." He's like, "Whatever," you know? But, you know, they listen to him without question for the most part. It's like, guard the tower, fight the Straw Hats, they'll do that, even though Spondum really does not even compare to them in terms of physical power. Now, why are some of the Cipher Poles secretive while others are not? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. When you're going to have a secretive organization that's in charge of espionage and intelligence, you know, they don't know it's coming if you tell them, "Hey, there's 8 of these agencies." "Oh, wait, no, there's actually 10 of them, but we're just going to keep those other 2 secretive." You know, it's like if you have, like, the US comes out and says, "Oh yeah, the CIA is definitely a thing," but oh man, the public doesn't know about the secret CIA. You know, it would make perfect sense to have that sort of thing going on there. So CP9 is one of those organizations that is secretive, that most of the world doesn't know about. And then you have the other one, which is CP Aigis 0. And I have no idea what Aigis means, at least when it's spelled like this. When it's spelled like this, it does have a definition to protect, you know, a certain backing of a government or something, so I guess that makes sense there, but whatever. So CP Aigis 0 was referenced in the Dressrosa arc, so this is already post-time skip. We're already far into this. We thought we already knew how this shit worked, and then they dropped this on us. So this is the 10th Cipher Pol agency that apparently has higher authority than all the other Cipher Pol agencies, including CP9. They're the ones that I guess maybe directly report to the Gorosei or something like that, like the Gorosei's personal little clique that go and, like, take orders directly from them or something, because the CP9 was already pretty high ranked, you know, so the CP9 already had enough authority that outranked all the other 8 CPs, but then you get to CP Aigis 0, which is even higher ranked than that, so I can't imagine it going any higher than maybe directly reporting to Kong or directly reporting to the Gorosei. I would say probably the Gorosei there. Now, in terms of members, we don't really know that much about CP Aigis 0, aside from the fact that we know Rob Lucci was promoted there, as well as Spondum, who is currently Lucci's subordinate, although part of me thinks that if you've ever read the CP9 independent report, you know, the little cover story that explains what the CP9 members were up to during the, you know, after they got defeated at Eni's lobby, they're basically recovering on an island. They go back to their homeland. Eventually, Rob Lucci makes contact with Spondum and tells them, you know, we will return one day. And you think for a second that Rob Lucci and the others are going to be like outlaws. They're going to try to escape the government, and you know, they're trying to do their own thing. But then after the time skip, it's revealed not actually the case. Somehow, Rob Lucci gets a higher rank now. He gets promoted to Aigis 0, and Spondum is also there, but he's his, like, subordinate. And I feel like Lucci requested that specifically. He's like, yes, thank you for promoting me, sir. I would like to request that Spondum be brought into Aigis 0 as well. And then, like, the Gorusei or, like, Kong are like, what the fuck are you talking about? That pissant, he's not going to be useful. Like, oh no, he'll be very useful to me and our needs. And then he just, like, you know, fetch my coffee, sir. You know, that would make sense there. I almost forgot. How do I dare mention the Cipher Poles? How do I dare mention CP9 and CP Aigis 0 without mentioning their most valuable member? Hattori! I'm on. Hattori is the linchpin to this entire organization. You look at this fucking bird and you tell me that this thing is just an ordinary pigeon. You know, he's not. Alright, it's gonna be revealed like this is like Lucci's true, like, master, like the Dark Lord that's, like, pulling the strings of all the agencies together. Fucking Hattori, right? You know, you want an example? Look at this. Yeah, you think that's just for show? Yeah, it's not. That's reflecting some serious dark shit in those eyes right there. That bird has probably seen so many people die, it's not even funny at this point. Yeah, you know, just to show an example of the level of dedication that the Cipher Pole agencies have, you know, CP9 joined the Galila company at Water 7, which is a shipbuilding company. They joined this company for 5 years. And they just didn't pretend either. They went through training to become shipwrights. You know, and they made connections, they made friends for 5 years without leaking their identity. Okay, so they have dedication to this fucking task here. They will do whatever has to be necessary in order to complete it, and they always stay on track. You know, those 5 years they were, you know, still conducting their operations until finally they got to the end where it's like, all right, now we can reveal ourselves. You know, that's the point there. They're incredibly intelligent. Like there was a moment when even because Iceberg is not stupid. Iceberg, they knew they were looking for Pluton. They knew that the government wanted to get their hands on Pluton, this ultimate super weapon that can control the world even more than they're already controlling the world. So Iceberg didn't just hide it, he had like fakes and duplicates and shit. And the only way that Cipher Pol was able to determine that, you know, where the blueprints were is that, you know, Kaku grabs Iceberg and measures his pulse as like a lie detector, and he's like, all right, so, you don't have the blueprints with you right now in this building. This is just like a fake that you hid. But there was that one time, like 4.5 years ago, when that one person met you at your office that one time and then left. He probably has them. We've cracked the case, and that was a little bit more. They explained it a little bit more than that, but they figured out like logically how this would work. So yeah, they're pretty intelligent there. They're also very keen in battle. Unlike all the other Cipher Poles, CP9 can handle their shit one-on-one combat, and it's through the Rokushiki that they do that. The Rokushiki are the 6 powers, and they are like different kinds of superhuman abilities. All the members of CP9, and I'm assuming Aigis 0 because they're the 2 secretive ones. They train on an island ever since they're kids. I guess they're orphans or whatever. I don't know how that works exactly. They just kidnap children. I wouldn't put it past the world government because, you know, they've done that before. But they train on this island since they're little kids, you know, to master these superpowers, and when they grow up and become like these super soldiers for the world government. The 6 powers are Tekkai, which allows you to strengthen your body to hard as steel to resist like cannon fire and gunshots and shit like that. And then you have the Tempest Kick, which allows you to send like a wave of energy from your feet when you like kick and shit like that. You have Shigan, which is a finger pistol, allows to turn your finger into like basically the same as a bullet. You know, you just stab somebody really hard. There's variations on all these techniques too. Like each of the members of CP9 kind of come up with their own special techniques. Like there's an advanced form of Tekkai called Tekkai Go. and there's like a rapid Gatling version of the Shigan and shit. There's Kamiye, which is a paper body, which allows you to bend your body in weird ways to like avoid punches and kicks and knives and shit. There's Geppo, which is the moonwalk, which allows you to, no, not pull off like a Michael Jackson up in here, but it allows you to basically step on the air, so it's the same technique as Sanji's skywalk, basically. Sanji, I guess, took inspiration from them there. And the last technique is Soru, or shave, which just allows you to move really fast. That's one of the more basic ones. But yeah, and then if you're really skilled though, you can combine them all together to create the ultimate weapon, which only used by Lucci, but it was called the Rokushiki, and it's just a fucking, just, you know, you hold your hands like this and it's just like a cannon blast right at the person, like an impact dial or a reject dial just blowing up in their freaking face. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, it seems like only CP9 and I guess CP Aigis 0 have mastered the Rokushiki techniques. We didn't see anybody from CP6 or CP7 using them all that much. So I'm assuming theirs are just like standard espionage activities, whereas CP9's the ones that are like more of the muscle and the skill, and then Aigis 0, which is even higher than that there. So currently in the story, CP Aigis 0, well, they were present during Dressrosa. You know, Lucci and Spondum were there, and it was Kaku over the Denden Mushi that was communicating with Lucci. We don't actually see Kaku, but it was like his speech pattern, and it was like talking the way that Kaku normally talks. So we know that it was probably him. In the anime, it was very clear that it was Kaku, but in the manga, it was pretty clear as well. So they're all probably members of Aigis 0. They were observing what was going down with Doflamingo and Luffy and everything like that. They made an appearance in Film Gold, where we had a pretty kick-ass scene where Lucci, you know, went into his leopard form and fought against fucking Sabo. So that was cool there. Right now, we don't really know what's up with them. I would assume personally that Cipher Pol right now would be more concerned with the revolutionaries. So I could see more of a conflict arising between Aigis 0 and the Revolutionary Army than I do with, like, the Aigis 0 pursuing Luffy and the other Straw Hats. See, Cipher Pol agencies, I mean, if they come across pirates, they will arrest them because they are government agents, but that's not their prime duty. They're more concerned about people like the revolutionaries, you know, people that are actually posing a direct threat to the world government that might actually cause, you know, upheaval in that system. So I would say that even Aigis 0 might actually be the government's personal countermeasure for the revolutionaries. Like, they came up with Aigis 0 just specifically to counter any big revolutionary group that gets gathered. Now, we've actually seen really recently in One Piece, like in the last chapter, that Aigis 0 existed like over like around like 60-something years ago during Big Mom's flashback. So it wasn't something that existed just now. But you imagine the world government, which is a force that's existed for fucking centuries, like 800-something years, there'd be more than just one revolutionary group popping up. There'd probably be quite a few over the centuries popping up trying to fight against them. And they made Aigis 0 specifically in case a revolutionary group ever gets too out of hand, in case they get a lot of strong members. It's Aigis 0. Those are the people that are actually going to be our main fighting force, like our anti-revolutionary army. You know, and that would explain why Lucci's there and Kaku's there. You know, you could use Spondum to shine your boots. You know, every army platoon needs somebody to like fetch them water or something. You know what I mean, what Spondum's good for. Spondine was the former head of CP9. That's Spondum's father, as well as this guy Lashki, who was Khalifa's dad. You know, they were also part of CP9. Plus this guy with the wavy hair and the glasses. They were CP9 during the events of O'Hara, when O'Hara was obliterated by the Buster Calls. So that's pretty interesting. It runs in the family there, how it's passed on from you know, father to son, you know, who heads CP9, basically just by maybe rank or something, I don't know. But yeah, Cipher Pol, pretty badass setup for them. I really like them as a group in One Piece. They're the kind of like, you know, there's some interesting characters in the Cipher Pol agencies. You know, Wanzei's pretty out there. You have Kumadori in CP9 that's just yo-yo! But they know how to do their shit. You know, they have a job to do. They've been training since they were kids to do this one job. Especially when you get to like Lucci. Lucci might have a little bit of, you know, bloodlust and shit in him, but he's extremely intelligent, and he's not just going to be like, All right, Luffy, I'll let you live because that seems like the honorable thing to do. No, they don't pull that fucking shit with the CPs. You know, it's like you have to basically beat them into submission like Luffy did. Luffy had to like jet Gatling Lucci into the fucking wall in order for him to finally leave him alone, you know, and they might meet again someday, and I really hope they do, but if we could just get Lucci versus Sabo in canon, that would be sweet. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed my video on the Cipher Pole agencies. What is your favorite Cipher Pole agency? Okay, that's stupid. Yeah, CP6, Matt, that's my favorite Cipher Pole agency. That boxing guy, Jerry, man, he just really spoke to me on a deeper level. I want to find out about Boxing Island or Karate Island, or where the fuck he came from. I want to find out about CP6 with that guy. No, of course, it's either going to be CP9 or CP Aigis 0. Aigis 0 is cool just because they have the white outfits as opposed to the black outfits. Oh, and I think it was also stated, you know all those random foot soldiers in during Eni's lobby that were wearing the black suits? I think they were also maybe like an infantry members of the CP, or they might be part of like CP. That might be like CP2, 3, or 4, or whatever. Like random guys that are just, you know, there as like an infantry, but they were still part of the world governments. They were still on that kind of that payroll there. But that's just that. And who's your favorite CP9 member? I think that would be a better question to ask. You know, who is your favorite specific CP9 member there? Thanks you guys for watching. This will be Tekking101 signing out. Later, everybody. If we could just get Lucci versus Sabo in canon, that would be sweet. Holy shit, that's a lot of helicopters. Guys, I think we might be going to war with fucking, some alien creature. Because, like, yeah, there's like a shit ton of helicopters that just flew by, and I'm like out in the middle of the country, so maybe this is something. You ever see the movie Mist, Stephen King, with the giant, like, aliens and shit coming out of the wormhole? I think that shit might be going down. Alright.